Hey guys, welcome to another Respiratory 2160 video. Today I'm going to be demonstrating a ventilator circuit change. Sometimes that it would be indicated to do a ventilator circuit change would be if the circuit is soiled, if the circuit is occluded or broken. I've seen corrugated tubing get crunched in the bed, but most commonly it would be soiled, such as if a patient has some type of hemorrhaging or pulmonary edema, or one time I had to do a circuit change because a patient ingested Drano and they were having some really sticky secretions pulmonary wise from that. So let's say we have our circuit. I'm going to demonstrate on the Puritan Bennett 980 ventilator how to do a circuit change. Ideally, it's best practice to just get an entirely new ventilator and to make sure you perform a proper SST to make sure that your circuit is calibrated and ready to go, but sometimes that's not. Sometimes when you're in a pandemic or you're in certain situations, you just have to change the circuit and everything should work out appropriately. It's best practice to perform a circuit change with 2 respiratory therapists, having one doing bag ventilation for the patient to support ventilation and oxygenation and pulmonary recruitment, while the other changes the circuit. So best way to do this is with a bed, but since we don't have a bed at the moment, I will show you guys step by step on what to do. So let's say this is our ventilator and we have a dirty circuit that we need to change. First step I would do is all these heater wires that measure the temperatures. I would take those out, and if you notice there's little plugs, let me bring it up closer, that you can remove the wire and plug the circuit so that you don't have a leak once you remove the heater wires. And I would completely remove my heater wires. There are these nice little clips that the wires connect to. And then also there's one down here by the concha heater. And I would plug it. Oh, sorry guys. With that, with this concha heater, we have the plug down here. So I would just disconnect and then place these in a clean environment or in a bag so that you can reuse them. So I'll just carefully place them on top of my heater here. Sorry guys. Okay, so once I have all my heater wires disconnected, there will be one at the inspiratory limb, the expiratory limb, a second one at the inspiratory limb, and then up here at the inspiratory limb to make sure that everything is properly heated. Next, I take my new clean circuit and I make sure not to let it hit the floor or get the inside dirty or soiled at all. I plug the holes also, such as up here if they're not already, and at the limb, at the inspiratory. Okay. After that, I will lay my circuit next to the dirty one. I'll put my ventilator in standby so that we don't have aerosolizing particles out and different secretions flying out. Then you just simply replace. I start inspiratory and move expiratory, make sure I hit all the important parts. So inspiratory, I just follow it along and make sure that all the secretions and dirty parts of this ventilator stay closed and intact. And then you switch out your expiratory. clean up your clean. And yes, it will feel like you're dealing with a little bit of a monster here. Or a little love. Okay. Okay. So that these are completely separate. So I have my dirty circuit. I make sure to keep my ends up and this up so that it will all drain to the bottom here. And I'll discard that now that I don't have any wires because the wires are not disposable. Next, there's this piece of clean corrugated tubing that's short that comes from the ventilator to the heater. I change that on a separate occasion. Okay. After that, I return all of my heater wires to their proper location. So I would attach my blue concha to my blue. And it's basically just matching colors and lengths. Then I take my short. I place it in the short. My long in the long. I put my wires in their little holders. And then on my expiratory limb, my yellow to my yellow. All right, so now that our circuit is in place, if you have the time and the ability and the resources, now is the perfect time to perform an SST. Make sure that your circuit is calibrated. If not, maybe you're short on time, maybe there's an occlusion or it's an emergent situation, then it's okay to apply it to your patient. So then you will take it out of standby, or if it's like this ventilator where it will begin ventilation once flow or pressure is triggered, then you attach it to your patient and you'll have a clean circuit. So the biggest key points, it does take a little practice. If you can tell, I had a couple mess ups and it does feel a little awkward. A few key tricks would be lay it on the bed, incorporate your bed, embrace your space near you so that you can use that. Make sure that your heater wires stay clean when you take them out, and make sure the inside of your circuit, because you want to break the circuit as least little as possible. So those are my biggest tips and tricks. And then you can also change the actual heater themselves too, if that's an issue. And all you do is disconnect the inspiratory limbs and replace, whether it's the center concha or the Fisher-Paykel heater. And that is ventilator circuit change. Let us know if you guys have any questions.